So like, I started with Cardfight. Obviously Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, blah blah blah. I started with Cardfight.
Okay.
I got out of Cardfight because I have no luck, and I'm firmly of the belief that Cardfight is like 50% luck, 50% skill. And I got out of it because I just, no matter how good I felt that I played, I just couldn't get past the miracle heals that other people got that I didn't. I couldn't get past, Kagero with their like triple crits. And I'm like, well, I can hit a heal in 3 drive checks, or I'll have enough guard power or something. Just like there was always something. And that's how I got out of Cardfight. Especially when Digimon came around and I started getting into it. I was like, all right, cool. I'm done with Cardfight, because I loved Cardfight. I do still love Cardfight. I know it's not a game for me personally, so I'm curious to know, like, is it something for you when you got into Digimon? Was it more of a, I like Digimon more than I like Cardfight, or did you get out of Cardfight?
So the only reason I got out of Cardfight is I just didn't like the direction the game was going, per se.
Also fair.
With V, I didn't like a lot of the decisions they made in V, and I really didn't like Overdress's design either, especially Overtrigger. But I will say, as far as like RNG factor goes, I definitely will say I was very fortunate enough to meet a group of locals in Houston that was known as like the sweaty locals, like notorious like tournament winners and stuff like that. And they like beat the shit out of, like in Vanguard terms, right? They beat the shit out of me, right? And if it were to luck, right? If it were 50% luck, I would have gotten some games off of them. The reality is, I got my shit kicked in for like 2 months straight. And I was like, how do I get good at this? I'm tired of losing. I hate losing. How do I win? And they taught me. They gave me some coaching. And I got top 8 next event. So I think there's a lot of factors. Like, yes, there's luck, obviously, because triggers in general are just inherently sacky. But there is a skill factor in mitigating the impact of those triggers. And I actually carried over that skill set into Digimon when I was like, because of security, right? Security is a sacky mechanic. But because of my experience with Vanguard, playing around triggers, because you can play around a double crit, you can play around Miracle Heal. There's a lot of ways you can actually play around that stuff. And this is not a Vanguard podcast. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of it. Right. But I think Vanguard was really like, it wasn't 50-50 in terms of luck and skill. I'd say maybe like 75-25 if I'm like pushing it. It's probably less than that, to be honest with you, because if it were truly 50-50, the names that top consistently, they wouldn't top consistently, right?
Right, that makes sense.
Any game where you're having people consistently top is an indicator of like there's enough skill to like offset that luck. And when it came to Digimon with security, I played around security really, really well, I would say, back in the day because of my Vanguard experience. Like, I knew, like, oh, my lose condition is, like, hitting a Gaia Force specifically, so let me play around that. Oh, if I hit Flower Cannon and I lose, let me play around Flower Cannon. Like, it's just stuff like that. And it was, like, knowing... That actually worked out in my favor because I played very unorthodox, I would say, for early Digimon days, where I would swing out on my 4s and I would swing out on my 5s, depending on what matchup I was playing into, because I would be able to calculate... I mean this like in the most literal sense. I was able to calculate the average DP, the average security bombs in every single deck because I looked at every single deck. Every deck that ever graced the internet, I looked at it and I memorized.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're just like a complete database. It's like, what is that card? What's that egg?
From BT1 all the way to I think BT6 maybe. I had every single card memorized. I had almost every single list in the game. At least the skeleton memorized to a T. So I was able to formulate when I could swing out, when just general game plan strategies, and it worked out really well in my favor. And I think that's what I would attribute to a lot of my early success. So
that makes sense.
Luck is annoying, and hitting a bad security bomb at a terrible time, it sucks. Like it definitely sucks. But if security was enough of a factor to just swing a game like that hard, we wouldn't see consistent names like Ying, like Jackson Huang, like Chungman top as consistently as I do, right? Like Chungman, he took a 1-year break from Digimon because he's a college student, took a 1-year break after winning Worlds, mind you, comes back, immediately gets second at a regional, and then immediately wins an Ultimate Cup right
Yeah,
after.
it was with the regionals with Bloom, I think, right? Yeah.
He did.
I remember seeing that. I was like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, but like that just goes to show that like skill is such a large factor of this game, right? Like yes, it has like some kind of luck element to it. I'm not denying that. But the skill factor is massive.
Right. I mean, okay, so you can say it for what it is. My experience.
Varni was bad at
Vanguard.
Skill
Get
gap.
better.
Skill
Get
gap.
better.
Exactly. It was straight skill gap. I was a bad Vanguard player. But you know what? I am a half decent Digimon player, and I'll take half decent Digimon player over shitty Vanguard player every day.
That's true, Varni. You're the only person in NA to ever win with Examon.
Yeah, with Examon, yeah.